See, love is not something you pursue desperately, hoping it will fill a void inside you. Love is an energy, a frequency, a vibration that you carry within yourself. And when you begin to radiate it, when you embody it in your thoughts, your words, and your actions, it becomes almost impossible for someone not to feel drawn to you. The truth is, people are magnetically attracted to those who exude the energy of love, confidence, and peace. This is because love itself is not a transaction. See, it's not about taking or demanding, it's about being. When you shift your awareness from chasing love to being love, you immediately change the game. The energy you give off becomes the invitation that pulls another person closer. See, not out of obligation, but out of a deep, undeniable resonance. Think for a moment about the times you've been around someone who seemed genuinely happy, calm, and full of life. You couldn't help but feel better just by being in their presence. You might not even have known why, but their energy touched you. That is what love as an energy does. It communicates beyond words, beyond logic, beyond appearances. It creates a field that others want to step into. And once they do, they feel safe, seen, and valued. This is the key to making her fall deeply in love, not through manipulation or games, but through the natural attraction of a radiant, loving spirit. When you radiate love, you are not dependent on whether she responds today, tomorrow, or at all. You are not desperate for her validation. Instead, you are anchored in the knowing that you are already whole, already worthy, already abundant in the very energy that makes relationships thrive. This inner confidence is magnetic. It is not arrogance, and it is not forceful. It is subtle, yet powerful, like the pull of the Earth's gravity. She feels it without you saying a word. She senses the stability, the warmth, the peace within you. And that becomes something she wants to be near, something she wants to experience again and again. The mistake many people make is that they try to chase love outside of themselves, believing that someone else's affection will complete them. See, but the truth is when you chase, you push away. The energy of desperation is heavy and it repels. On the other hand, when you radiate love, when you live in it and let it flow through your interactions, you create a lightness, a joy, a confidence that draws her in effortlessly. It's not about what you say, it's about who you are when you say it. It's not about what you do once, it's about the consistency of how you show up. Love as energy begins in your mind. It starts with the thoughts you allow yourself to think. If you walk around focusing on lack, on loneliness, on fear of rejection, that's the vibration you're sending out. But if you shift your focus to gratitude, to appreciation, to kindness, you immediately elevate your frequency. Every thought carries a vibration, and when you cultivate thoughts of love, you begin to embody that love in everything you do. See, she doesn't fall in love simply with your appearance or your words. She falls in love with the energy she feels when she's around you. It also expresses itself in your body language. Do you walk with confidence, with openness, with presence? Or do you shrink, hide, and avoid eye contact? The energy of love shows up in how you carry yourself, in how you greet the world, in how you look at her with genuine interest rather than need. She notices these things on a subconscious level. The smile, the calmness in your tone, the steadiness in your posture, these are signals that you are aligned with the energy of love, and that alignment is what makes her heart open to you. The energy of love also shows up in the way you listen. So many people hear words but never truly listen. When you radiate love, you listen not to reply, but to understand. You are present in the moment. You make her feel like she is the only person in the room, and that level of presence is intoxicating. See, it communicates without saying it out loud. You matter. You are valued. I see you. And that is one of the most powerful ways to touch a woman's heart deeply. See, radiating love means you are not holding back kindness until you get something in return. You are not calculating, not performing. You are simply being. And in that authenticity, she senses truth. See, she senses that you are not trying to win her over, but rather allowing her to step into your world, a world that is already filled with light, warmth, and abundance. That is irresistible because it feels safe and real. See, and it is in that safety and realness that love takes root. Would you like me to expand the same way on key point 2 for overcoming negative emotions in another 600, 700 words, keeping the same flowing motivational style? See, negative emotions have a way of clouding not only our hearts, but also our entire perception of reality. They create a lens through which we see the world darker than it truly is, and if left unchecked, they begin to control our actions, our words, and our energy. When you carry anger, fear, jealousy, doubt, or resentment inside of you, that energy leaks into every interaction you have. No matter how much you try to mask it, people feel it, and she will feel it most of all. The unspoken truth is that emotions are contagious. When you walk into a space with heaviness in your spirit, that heaviness spreads, and instead of drawing someone closer, it creates distance. If you want her to fall deeply in love, you must first master the art of overcoming negative emotions, because what you release inside is exactly what you project outward. Every negative emotion is a signal, not a sentence. It doesn't mean you are broken. It doesn't mean you are unworthy, and it doesn't mean you are incapable of love. It means you are human, and something within you is calling for healing and attention. The danger comes when you hold on to those emotions, replay them over and over in your mind, and allow them to harden into your identity. If you start believing, I am angry, I am unlovable, I am not good enough, then those feelings begin shaping your destiny. But when you see them for what they are, Temporary states, passing clouds, signals that you can transform. You gain the power to rise above them and shift your vibration. See, think about how different it feels when someone speaks from a place of bitterness compared to someone who speaks from a place of peace. You can hear it in their tone, you can see it in their body language, you can feel it in the space around them. See, that is why overcoming negative emotions is not just for your own mental health. It is essential for building real connection. She will not fall in love with the part of you that is drowning in unresolved pain. See, but she will be drawn to the part of you that has faced pain, grown stronger, and chosen to rise. There is a quiet strength in someone who has learned to master their emotions instead of being mastered by them. See, one of the most powerful ways to overcome negative emotions is awareness. Most people move through life unconsciously reacting rather than responding. Something triggers them, and instantly they lash out, shut down, or spiral into self-doubt. But when you become aware, when you catch yourself in the moment and realize, this feeling is here, but it does not control me, you take back your power. Awareness creates space, and in that space you have a choice. You can feed the emotion, or you can transform it. You can stay stuck in the vibration of fear and anger, or you can breathe, step back, and choose thoughts that align with love, gratitude, and peace. Another way to rise above negative emotions is to reframe them. See, every time you feel jealousy, it is a sign that you care deeply. Every time you feel fear, it is a sign that you are stepping into something that matters. Every time you feel sadness, it is a reminder of how much love you have the capacity to give. See, instead of resisting these emotions or burying them, you can see them as teachers, as guides pointing you toward growth. When you reframe, you take something that once weakened you and turn it into a source of strength. See, it is also vital to recognize how your body holds emotions. Stress, anger, and worry live in your muscles, in your posture, in the way you carry yourself. If you want to release negative emotions, move your body. Walk, stretch, breathe deeply. Exercise. Physical movement is a powerful reset because the mind and body are connected. When your body shifts, your emotions begin to shift with it, and you create the space for new energy to flow in. And then there is the power of focus. See, whatever you focus on expands. If you wake up every day focusing on what is missing, what is wrong, what has hurt you, your mind will continue to serve you more of the same. See? But if you deliberately focus on gratitude, even in small ways, you shift the energy inside of you. Gratitude is one of the fastest ways to overcome negativity because it forces your mind to acknowledge the abundance that already exists. See, and when you are in that state of gratitude, your energy radiates in a way that others feel immediately. She will feel it, and it will pull her closer because gratitude is attractive, it is warm, it is safe. Overcoming negative emotions doesn't mean you will never feel them again. It means you will no longer be controlled by them. It means you can see them arise, acknowledge them, and then consciously choose not to dwell in them. See, that mastery of self is magnetic. She will see it in how you handle challenges, in how you respond when things don't go your way, and how you treat others even when you are under pressure. That stability creates trust, and trust is the foundation of lasting love. Do you want me to move on and expand key point 3's clarity and vision next in the same motivational rhythm and 600's words? Clarity is one of the most powerful forces you can possess because without clarity, see, your life becomes a constant state of confusion and uncertainty. When it comes to love, clarity is not only about knowing what you want in another person, but also about knowing who you are and what energy you bring into the relationship. Most people drift into love without direction, hoping that someone else will come along and complete them. But that is why so many connections fall apart. If you are unclear, if you are lost in your own identity, see, then no matter how much she may be drawn to you in the beginning, eventually that lack of direction shows up. True clarity creates a magnetic energy, and when you embody it, she cannot help but notice it because it communicates certainty, purpose, see, and strength without you ever needing to explain it. When you have a clear vision of yourself and your life, you send a signal that you are not wandering aimlessly. You know where you are going, and you are moving forward with intention. That sense of direction is incredibly attractive because it shows that you are grounded in something bigger than the moment. A woman does not fall deeply in love with uncertainty. She falls in love with a man who is certain. See, who stands firm in his values, who knows what he is building, and who has the courage to pursue it. Clarity becomes a beacon, and it makes her feel safe to step into your world because she can see that your path is steady. See, clarity also means knowing the kind of love you want to create. Too many people accept whatever comes their way, even if it doesn't align with their deepest desires. They compromise not because it's healthy, but because they don't believe they can have more. But when you are clear about the type of connection you want, the kind of energy you want to share, and the standards you hold for yourself, you stop settling. That decisiveness radiates confidence. It says, I know my worth and I know the love I desire is possible. This is not about being demanding or rigid, but about being intentional, and intention is deeply magnetic. Vision is the extension of clarity into the future. See? It is the ability to see beyond where you are right now and imagine the life you are creating. When you carry a vision, your energy is infused with purpose, and purpose is irresistible. She feels it in the way you talk about your dreams, in the way you move through challenges, in the way you don't let obstacles stop you. Your vision tells her that you are not someone who merely reacts to life. You are someone who designs life. That difference is enormous, see, because when she senses that you are the author of your own destiny, she feels safe, inspired, and drawn to be part of that story. Clarity and vision also eliminate insecurity. See, most insecurities in love come from not knowing who we are or where we are going. When you are unclear, you seek validation from others, you cling too tightly, or you hide behind fear. But when you have clarity, you don't need to cling. See, because you already know your value. You don't need to beg for love because you know that love flows to those who are aligned with it. You don't become jealous of others because your focus is on your own vision, not on comparison. See, that calm assurance becomes one of your greatest strengths, and she feels it in every interaction. The power of clarity is also seen in how you communicate. When you are clear within, your words become clear as well. You speak with conviction, see, with honesty, with direction. You don't leave her guessing and you don't play games. That straightforward energy is rare and it builds trust. She falls in love not because of the words themselves, but because she senses the alignment behind them. She knows that what you say comes from a place of integrity, and that kind of authenticity is the foundation of deep connection. Having clarity does not mean you have every detail figured out. It does not mean you never question yourself. It means that at your core, you know what you stand for, and you know the general direction of where you are heading. Even if the path twists and turns, that inner compass remains strong. And when she feels that compass inside of you, she feels stability, and stability allows love to deepen. Vision also gives you resilience. When setbacks come, and they always will, your clarity keeps you moving forward. Instead of being thrown off course, you adjust, you learn, you keep going. That persistence shows her that you are not shaken easily, that you can be relied upon, that you are a man who builds rather than collapses. See? And that resilience makes her feel like she's choosing not just a partner, but a leader, someone who can hold both himself and her steady when life becomes uncertain. See? Do you want me to continue in the same way and expand key point 4, self-love first, in another 600 less words with the same motivational rhythm? Self-love is the foundation upon which every other form of love is built. Without it, everything you try to create in a relationship becomes shaky, unstable, and dependent on the other person's validation. The truth is, no matter how much you desire for her to fall madly in love with you, she cannot truly do so if you haven't first fallen in love with yourself. When you do not value yourself, you unconsciously teach others not to value you either. When you doubt yourself, you project that doubt outward, and it influences how people respond to you. But when you stand in self-love, when you walk with the awareness that you are worthy, deserving, and complete, you radiate a confidence that becomes magnetic. And that is the kind of energy that makes a woman want to connect with you deeply. Self-love is not arrogance, it is not selfishness, and it is not about putting yourself above others. It is about honoring who you are at your core. It is about recognizing that your flaws, your strengths, your wounds, and your gifts all make up the unique being that you are. It is about understanding that your value does not come from what you own, what you achieve, or who accepts you, but from the simple fact that you exist. When you fully embrace yourself, you stop trying to prove your worth to others, and that ease, that quiet confidence is deeply attractive. A woman can sense when a man is at peace with himself, see, because he does not chase approval, he does not cling, and he does not lose himself trying to impress. He shows up authentically, and authenticity is irresistible. When you love yourself, you set standards for how you allow others to treat you. See, you are no longer willing to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or neglect because you know you deserve better. This self-respect is powerful because it communicates to her that you are not desperate for love, you are choosing it. And that choice is far more appealing than neediness. She feels the difference between a man who is begging to be loved and a man who already loves himself enough to be selective about who he shares his heart with. One repels, the other attracts. See, self-love also changes how you show up in a relationship. When you are empty inside, you look to her to fill the void. You expect her to constantly reassure you, to constantly give you the love you are not giving yourself. That weight is exhausting, and it eventually pushes her away. But when you are already full within, when you nurture yourself with care, compassion, and respect, you bring that fullness into the relationship. Instead of draining her energy, you contribute to it. See, instead of taking, you give, and in giving, you create a cycle of love that grows naturally. Loving yourself also means caring for your mind and body. It means feeding your thoughts with positivity instead of constant self-criticism. See, it means speaking to yourself in the same way you would speak to someone you love, with kindness, encouragement, and patience. It means treating your body with respect, maintaining your health, and carrying yourself with pride. When you live in alignment with self-love, your entire energy changes. You no longer walk into a room seeking approval. You walk in knowing you are enough, and that assurance draws her closer without effort. Self-love brings freedom from comparison. See, so many people lose themselves in jealousy, constantly measuring their worth against others. But when you truly love yourself, you understand that no one else can take your place because no one else can be you. That uniqueness becomes your strength. See, and when she sees that you embrace it, she feels safe to embrace her own uniqueness too. Love grows strongest when two people meet not from a place of insecurity, but from a place of wholeness. Another important aspect of self-love is forgiveness. See, if you carry guilt, shame, or regret from the past, those emotions weigh you down and stop you from fully opening your heart. When you practice self-love, you learn to forgive yourself, to release the mistakes, to understand that you were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. Forgiveness is freedom, and that freedom allows you to love more openly in the present. She can feel the difference between a man who is trapped in self-condemnation and a man who has freed himself from it. The latter is light, open, and inviting, while the former is heavy and closed off. Self-love also gives you the courage to be vulnerable. When you truly value yourself, you are not afraid to share your truth, your fears, or your dreams, because you know that doing so does not diminish your worth. See, vulnerability becomes a strength rather than a weakness, and she falls in love with the man who is both strong and open, confident yet willing to be real. That balance is only possible when you first have a deep relationship with yourself. Do you want me to go ahead and expand key point 5, consistency in action, in the same detailed, motivational style with 600 tough words? Consistency is one of the most underrated yet powerful forces in love. See, grand gestures might spark a moment of excitement, but it is the steady, reliable day-to-day presence that builds deep emotional connection. When you show up consistently with your actions, your words, and your energy, you create a sense of safety and trust that no fleeting moment of passion can replace. Consistency communicates commitment. It shows her that you are not just interested in winning her attention for a moment, but in building something lasting. It tells her that your feelings are not shallow, but rooted in depth, and that is what makes her heart open fully. So many people start relationships with intensity. They pour all their energy in the beginning, saying the right words, making promises, giving attention, but then the effort fades. What once felt like devotion turns into inconsistency, and inconsistency breeds doubt. She begins to question your intentions, wondering if your love was ever real, or if it was just a temporary performance. But when your actions match your words over time, when your presence does not disappear after the excitement fades, she feels secure. Security in love does not come from dramatic moments. It comes from knowing that you will be there. That you will remain the same person in both easy and difficult times. Consistency also builds respect. Anyone can be kind once. Anyone can show patience in one conversation. But to show up with kindness repeatedly, to practice patience daily, to keep choosing respect even when you are frustrated, that is what earns lasting admiration. Respect grows when she sees that you do not change your behavior based on convenience, but that your values remain steady regardless of the situation. That steadiness makes her trust you more deeply because she knows you are not unpredictable. Trust is not built on words, it is built on consistent action. It is important to understand that consistency does not mean perfection. It is not about never making mistakes or never having bad days. It is about being reliable even when things are not ideal. It is about apologizing when you slip, correcting your course, and showing that you are committed to growth. Consistency is not flawless execution. It is persistence. It is the choice to keep showing up with love, even when life gets hard, even when emotions fluctuate, even when it would be easier to walk away. That persistence shows her that you are not easily shaken, and that strength makes her feel safe in your presence. Another aspect of consistency is emotional stability. A woman feels deeply connected when she knows that your energy does not swing wildly from one extreme to another. If one day you are overflowing with affection and the next you are cold and distant, it creates confusion and insecurity. But when your love flows steadily, when your tone, your presence, and your attention remain balanced, she can relax into the relationship. Love deepens in the space where uncertainty is replaced with assurance. And consistency is the bridge that creates that space. Consistency also shows up in the small things, the daily habits that might seem insignificant but carry great weight. Remembering her words, keeping your promises, showing genuine interest in her day, expressing appreciation regularly. These are not grand gestures, but they are the building blocks of trust and intimacy. Many people underestimate the power of these small actions, but over time, they create a pattern that communicates love more strongly than any single dramatic display ever could. She does not fall in love because of one extraordinary act. She falls in love because of the repeated experience of being valued and cared for. Consistency reflects discipline, and discipline is attractive because it shows strength of character. When she sees that you are consistent not only in your love for her, but also in your own life, your work, your habits, your personal growth, she feels admiration. Discipline proves that you are not ruled by impulses, but by intention. And when you are intentional in your own life, she can trust that you will be intentional in your relationship as well. That reliability is rare, and it sets you apart. It is also important to note that consistency magnifies love over time. The first time you express kindness, it is appreciated. The 100th time you do it, it becomes part of your identity in her eyes. The more often you show up with patience, honesty, and presence, the more those qualities become inseparable from how she experiences you. She doesn't just see you as someone who can be loving. She sees you as love itself, because you have demonstrated it repeatedly. This is how real emotional bonds are created, not through temporary highs, but through steady reinforcement. Consistency requires intention, because without awareness, it is easy to let excitement fade and effort slip. That is why true consistency comes from a decision to commit, to show up, to keep building even when it feels ordinary. See, love is not sustained by extraordinary moments, but by ordinary actions repeated consistently over time. It is in that repetition that love becomes secure, and security is the soil in which passion, trust, and intimacy grow stronger with each passing day.